Welcome to the Money Savvy Parents Podcast, the podcast for parents to gain financial education to then pass on through the generations. I am your host, Laura, mother to 3 beautiful children and founder of a financial coaching business, Savvy Peacocks. Let's remove the taboo from money together. Welcome back to my podcast. Great to have you with me again today. We're going to be talking about something that I fall in line with, conscious parenting. So let's delve straight in and hear that question from the audience.
Hi Laura, I'm conscious that my son is at an age where he's watching everything that we do in the family, and I wondered if you could give us some guidance on money habits to display and the terminology to use. Thanks, Laura.
That's a fantastic question. Thank you so much for bringing this subject up, because I think it's something that doesn't get talked about often enough. And this is where I'm saying, for me, this is around conscious parenting. So as we all know, children are like sponges. They're watching absolutely everything we're doing and they are learning from it. And if you haven't already heard me say, children start deciding on their attitude towards money from age 7. And research shows that actually from age 9, they've decided their approach to money, how they deal with it, what money can be used for. So really, you need to be very conscious about the money habits you're displaying to them from as early as maybe 4 or 5, and using that as a pivotal time to be talking to them and then developing into the money habits or the attitude towards money that they will then carry forward into their adulthood. So one of the first things that might be quite a nice exercise to do is think about what money habits did you have displayed to you at a young age? What's your earliest childhood memory around money? What did your parents maybe subconsciously share with you about their financial position or display to you how they deal with money? And then from there, decide as a partnership what you would have liked to have had displayed to you. Is that in line with what you'd like your children to see, or does that need changing? What you want that to look like. So maybe thinking about the different types in ways we access money. So every time you use cash, card, maybe you're working online and you're spending money online, maybe you're working towards a budget. It's being very conscious of what opportunity is around us within our family to use it as an educational tool for our children all around money. So from there, you can agree what you would like to display to them and the positive elements for them to embrace. So something to think about is the words in which you use. So I'll give you an example. All too often, we might use the wording, "we can't afford that." So think in advance, what does that say to your child? Does it tell them that we're poor? Does it say that we can't afford things? Does it mean that, you don't earn enough money as a family? And think about, okay, is that something I want to display to my child? Is that terminology that I'm comfortable with? Or maybe do you want to switch it up with, we'll need to see how we can afford that today? Or is that something we need to plan ahead? We didn't plan to spend that money right now. So maybe it's something we need to think about. So I know it sounds like quite in depth, and this is why I'm saying it's conscious parenting, being very clear about some of the backhanded messages that you might be giving to your children without even realizing it, unintentionally. And it's similar with if you have an experience of spending money without any kind of explanation, or buying things without an explanation, because then they might think, oh, we can afford anything and, we can just have whatever we want. So it's not always a negative thing. It's consciously thinking about what we're displaying, how we're saying it, and is there a different way in which you can switch that up? And the only way you're going to work that out is to agree that within yourselves as parents. Think in advance, what approach would we like to display to our children towards money? What do we want them to learn in advance of their adulthood around money. What kind of relationship do we want them to have with money? All too often, I'm having lots of clients said to me, I was always taught that money was actually a bit of a bad thing, and that if you had lots of money, it meant that you were really greedy and that you worked really hard and that you were quite selfish and you just kept it all to yourself. And actually, that's often not the case, but that's the subconscious message that they've received as that when they're younger, because maybe their family didn't have as much as they would have liked. And so what they would do is they'd say, oh, well, we don't want money anyway. Money's a bad thing. It's not the be all and end all. And I agree with that. Money isn't the be all and end all. But money also is the thing for me that I believe unlocks doors and creates opportunities. And it's pivotal for me. It's so important that our children have a positive relationship with money. So if you're feeling brave around this, another thing you could maybe do is share your own money experiences and what that's taught you. So you can say to them, as I've grown up, this is what I was displayed, and so that's why we do things this certain way in our family. Or maybe you have had a bit of a journey where you've been spending money frivolously. You may have got into debt in the past, but you've now come out that, and this is how it's worked, and that you don't want that for your own children. So explaining to them, if I'd known this when I was 18, I wouldn't have made those mistakes. I've made those mistakes for you so that you don't have to. This is how you can ensure that you don't make those same mistakes. So I hope that helps. And I just want to summarize by saying, again, children are watching and learning everything from you. They're deciding now on their approach to money, and they need you to guide them. So whatever you do, whatever tactic you take, I've given you a few examples there. What I would ask you to do is at least talk to them about money. Disclose as much as you feel comfortable with so that they can learn how important this vital life skill is from who is their biggest role model. They look up to you. You are their be all and end all. And that's why I believe that it's our responsibility as parents to educate our future generations. I hope that answers your question and that it was insightful. If you've got any other questions, then please feel free to add that in the comments and come back to me, and I'll be sure to answer them. Have an awesome day. Thank you so much for listening to Money Savvy Parents. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please subscribe and post your money questions within a review for future episodes. If you want to learn more, then please join my Money Savvy Parents Facebook group or club on Clubhouse. Let's remove the taboo from money together.